Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are interested in sewing, please give me a subscribe. Firstly, print or create a sewing pattern, then join and cut out. If you're interested in my pattern, you'll find a link to it in the video description. This pattern also includes a bonus part, a cushion. If you want to sew only the nest, just cut out the nest only. I like to use this Texie marker to mark the pattern on the fabric. The pink color lasts on the fabric for 24 hours and then disappears. The purple color lasts for 48 hours and then disappears. In my experience, purple lasts longer on fabric than stated, so if you want the color to fade quickly and don't want to wash the nest, use pink, or use whatever you are comfortable with when drawing on fabric. We cut the nest with the following seam allowances. Cut out the frills. If you only want to sew the nest, just cut out the large frill and to X the small one. It says for X because you are counting on using 2 for the cushion as well. Now put away the pins and cut the nest pattern to leave the tunnel part and the line part. Now pin the 2 new parts to the second fabric and cut them out both on fold. Seam allowances are 1 cm or 3/8 inch. Now cut out the filling according to the pattern of the line part. I decided to add 1 more piece later. You can do it at this point with the 2 pieces of filling sewn together around the edge. Now we'll make a tunnel. Fold the seam allowances in half to make a 1 cm or 3/8 inch wide tunnel for the ribbon. Start sewing to centimeters or 3/4 inch from the beginning of the fabric. Now, sew the filling to fabric number 2 on wrong side of the fabric, and sew with a seam allowance of 1 cm or 3/8 inch. Then sew the lying part to the tunnel from fabric number 2. I use straight stitch to sew frills and the nest. Now, sew the parts of the frills together. We try to sew as close to the edge of the fabric as possible. Cut the edges with scissors. Be careful not to cut the thread. Then turn the frills over, iron and sew around the curved part.
Sew edges with 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance. Cut off the rest of the edges. Be careful not to cut the seam.
Do the same with other frills. When the frills are done, pin the largest one to the nest on fabric number 1. Take one small frill and cut it in half. Pin the 2 parts to the edges of the nest. Also, don't forget to let to centimeters or 3/4 inch at the end of the nest. Now, sew the frill to the nest with a seam allowance of 1 cm or 3/8 inch. Be careful not to sew through the tunnel. Now pin and sew the 2 parts of the nest together. Again, we are careful not to go through the tunnel. Sew with 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance. We turn the nest inside out. If you didn't put 2 parts of filling for the lying part as I mentioned earlier, you can do so now. Insert the other part of the filling through the bottom hole of the nest and pin from the top, then turn the nest inside out again. Now we'll pin the bottom edge except for the tunnel holes, because we'll be stuffing those later. Pin the bottom edge except for the holes in the sides of the nest. Sew the edges with a seam allowance of 1 centimetre or 3/8 inch. Cut off the rest of the fabric. Be careful not to cut the seam. Now we will bend the edge of the tunnel in the way shown in the video, so as not to clog the tunnel on the ribbon. Pin. Fold and pin the remaining edges. Sew the edges of the tunnel. Then sew the other edges. Turn the nest inside out. Now, sew the lying part from the facing side to create a tunnel for stuffing with polyester filling. Prepare the ribbon, pin the edge of the ribbon and sew with a straight stitch. Then cut through and insert a hairpin at the bottom. Then insert the hairpin with ribbon into the sewn tunnel and thread it through the other side of the nest. Cut off the ends of the ribbon to make them the same length. Then fold them over and sew through with a straight stitch. Now we stuff the nest tunnel with filling. Sew the bottom edges together. The nest is ready. I hope you enjoyed sewing and this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thanks for watching.